Hello everyone, and welcome to the Working with Neets module. This short webinar is part of a series of workshops of the European project of Erasmus plus ENTRPVET, meaning entrepreneurial practices in vocational education and training. This content will cover the topic of Neets, who they are and how you can work with them. But before we begin, let us introduce our organization.
2001 Agenzia Sociale
Is a social cooperative for multiple purposes, non-profit organization of social utility, which, through its staff of around 800 workers, offers for 32 years social services, education, and rehabilitation in favor of the citizens, public and private entities. It has the aim of pursuing the general interests of the community to human promotion and social integration of people, protecting and enhancing the rights and interests of citizens and those of its workers. The particular activities concern social and educational services, social rehabilitation, social welfare and health care in schools, territory, home, in-day and residential structures. Some examples are children and minors in situations of distress or at risk, persons with disabilities, hosting activities and school inclusion, mental health sector, hosting, BS, peer work, addiction problems, hosting activities in favor of migrants and unaccompanied minors. The class will be divided into 4 sections. First, an initial introduction on the definition of Neets and their context. Second, we will look at what Neets need and who can help them. Third, how to work with Neets and how to involve them within a project. Fourth, how to improve their opportunities and motivation. To learn more about the reality of Neets, we need to answer the following questions. Who are Neets? Why does a person become a Neet? How can we help him, her reach his, her goal? In order to identify them, we must try to put ourselves in their shoes.
Hello, I am a young person aged between 16 and 29 years old. I am a Neet. I don't study and don't work, but I am in good company. I am part of that 14%, Eurostat, 2020, of European guys who have not yet found their way, despite Google Maps.
Some data on Neets provided by Eurostat for the year 2020. Neets in Europe are 13.7% of the population aged 15-29. We are talking about 9.8 million young people. Looking at the data, we can see that the percentage of women is higher than that of men compared to the respective reference populations, confirming once again the penalizations of women in the world of education and work. Finally, 38% of the unemployed in Europe are Neets.
I was a little informed about my teammates. We are very different. Some do not want to seek training or work, others may not have finished school, still others are sick and have no chance. I honestly think I don't know how to do anything. We are different, but we have some problems in common.
In delving deeper into the Neet population in Europe, we need to consider a very important concept, that of heterogeneity within the Neet population. Neet status is caused by different risk factors determined by the socio-economic starting condition. We can distinguish 2 populations, the vulnerable at risk of marginalization and the non-vulnerable. They are rich in cultural, social and human capital. Much depends on the socio-economic condition of the country of origin. There are 8 different archetypes of Neet: re-entrants, young people who will soon re-enter employment, education or training and will soon begin or resume accumulation of human capital through formal channels. Short-term unemployed, young people who are unemployed, seeking work and available to start within 2 weeks, and have been unemployed for less than a year. A short period of unemployment during the transition from school to work can be considered normal, and the level of vulnerability among people in this category can be expected to be moderate. Long-term unemployed, young people who are unemployed, seeking work and available to start within 2 weeks, and have been unemployed for more than a year. people in this category are at high risk of disengagement and social exclusion, unavailable due to illness or disability. This category includes all young people who are not seeking employment or are not available to start a job within 2 weeks due to illness or disability. This group includes those who need more social support because illness or disability means not do paid work. Unavailable due to family responsibilities. This group includes those who are not seeking work or are not available to start a new job because they are caring for children or incapacitated adults, or have other less specific family responsibilities. Discouraged workers. This group captures all young people who have stopped looking for work because they believe that there are no job opportunities for them. They are mostly vulnerable young people at high risk of social exclusion who are very likely to experience poor employment outcomes over the course of their working lives and are at high risk of lifelong disengagement. In defining the condition of Neet, we must remember that it is not a static situation, but a temporary and dynamic condition that can occur once or several times. Talking to stakeholders, in Italy, we see that there are problems related to the integration of people with disabilities and social problems in the business world. If there are already socio-economic difficulties in the country's system, our Neets would be overwhelmed with further difficulties if left alone. As a result, we had to rethink the concept of entrepreneurship, transforming it into self-entrepreneurship, that is, the ability to be able to spend oneself in the world of work and later, after gaining experience and self-esteem, confront the world of business. Resuming the concept that to work with Neets we must be able to put ourselves in their shoes. Let's think about how a struggling young person, with low self-awareness, low self-esteem, feels when faced with a world of production and work that requires impossible characteristics to meet. This is a simple example, found online, of a job ad for a person with disabilities. As you can see, the demands are very high: experience, excellent interpersonal skills, and above all ability to work towards strategic goals in a fast-paced environment are required. Certainly this job posting is high level, but how inclusive is the setting of this job ad? For our most fragile youth, when faced with a job offer, the most common sensations are insecurity, low self-esteem, low motivation, mistrust in the future, frequently accompanied by inability to make decisions, risk of poverty for those who form their own family, interrupted or incomplete training. To and how can help these young people in an inclusive way.
So who can help me? Who can guide me in the context in which I find myself? Who can introduce me to new opportunities? Who can understand what my personal potentials, abilities and resources are? I need guidance to help me improve my condition.
Dear Neet, sounds like you really need a trainer. A person to guide you on your path of personal growth. A trainer is a properly trained figure who understands your context, your needs, and can make you more aware and responsible, building with you the most suitable growth path. Working with Neets is not an easy thing. We may encounter several difficulties during our training work. Here is a list of some of them, that we produced by analyzing our work experience. Find Neets and create a working group. Provide and illustrate the resources present and available in the territory. Create an empathic relationship with participants. Working on previous skills and knowledge by enhancing them. Facilitate contact between Neet and territorial resources. Strengthen and maintain the acquired skills and competencies. During the training of our Neets, the trainer, for us, should lead the Neet to the following goals: self-promotion, relational and personal autonomies, design and building a thought for the future. For self-promotion, we have identified strategic objectives that will allow us to continue effectively during the training, giving the Neet the opportunity to grow and succeed in the world of work and entrepreneurship by acquiring and renewing the skills necessary for personal growth. Enhancement of transversal skills, awareness, decision-making, problem setting and problem-solving skills, analysis of reality and limits, planning, learning the soft skills necessary for an effective communication. Self-promotion alone is not enough. It is imperative to include within the field of learning the normal autonomies that make a person not only free but also enjoyable. In our work we often come up against realities that lack basic autonomies. Disorganization, lack of adequate personal hygiene, the use of unsuitable and often vulgar communication terms do not allow the Neet to be expendable within the world. What are the good practices for effective work? Our thought is that of having to structure the intervention in an effective way. Create long-term calendarizations of the project. Make sure the program is common and shared. Profile the personality of the Neet. Extrapolate the underground potential. Share personal goals between trainers and Neets. Reach the goal is very important, with or without the trainer. Create a network of professional contacts for the insertion of the Neet in any work or study contexts. Below we will look at what is the right procedure to engage a Neet. According to a study published on the Euroguidance website, the Neet engagement process consists of the following steps, divided into Neets and Scouts. Initially, the Scouts will have to run focus groups and organize themselves according to their needs, focusing mainly on publicizing the project as widely as possible and getting the message across to those directly concerned, in this case Neets, their families and friends. The next step is to get the Neets to look for themselves or to seek them out, thanks to the network created through the publicity issued by the Scouts. Having gathered the necessary information, the Scouts are called to make formal, face-to-face contact with the Neet, thus enabling them to profile the motivations, critical issues and potential of the person in front of them. Aided by the interview, the Scouts will prepare the intervention, sharing ideas and actions to be taken with the Neet to get out of his, her condition and help him, her, running the path together with the Neet, or if possible, separate from the Neet. This choice must be carefully considered. The risk is to lose contact and add a failure to an already existing one. Neets of goodwill but, often, don't see opportunities to find a job or training or the right reason, motivation to change their condition. So working with Neet means creating opportunities and new ideas to approach the world of training and the world of work. Often for a Neet, reaching a small goal without the right self-esteem and the right motivations may seem impossible. Being a trainer has the onerous task of creating a series of networks with the surrounding territory to provoking an evolution of the Neet situation. To create opportunities, therefore, it is necessary to form a network of companies, businesses, schools, personal education services and employment offices, working in synergy to create an effective network of contacts that can create both opportunities and knowledge, such as training courses, support and advice, aided by all the operations listed above, form the necessary independence in the Neet that enables them to emerge from their condition. Trainer must be an example, a model, in creating new contact. Don't be afraid, dare, it's free, use all ways of communication, to know new different realities. These are the rules for doing effective work with Neets. Creating a good multidisciplinary network of people and knowledge, allows each trainer to be interchangeable with another trainer or professionals, without becoming the only one safety net for the Neet. More contacts equals more opportunities. Think about the sociological theory of 6 degrees of separation. Link to the video.
6 degrees of separation. The theory that everyone and everything is 6 or fewer degrees or steps away from each other. You might be familiar with Stanley Milgram, a social psychologist best known for his experiments on obedience at Yale, which involved delivering electric shocks in a so-called memory test with increasing intensities. In 1967, Milgram coined the phrase 6 degrees of separation after conducting his small world experiment, describing that growing social networks had a world-shrinking effect. The experiment tested how many steps it took for a package to be delivered from the West Coast in the US to a stockbroker in Boston by having one acquaintance mail it to another. He found that it only took an average of 6 steps to reach Boston in the 1960s. But what about now, in the 21st century, where social networking sites dominate the internet? If you use LinkedIn or Facebook, you've seen the 6 degrees of separation at work. LinkedIn uses a connection system where individual profiles in the People You May Know section are labeled as second or third connections, with a map showing how that person is related to you through your first connections, who are acquaintances already on your friends list. Similarly, Facebook shows a mutual friends count and now has a function that enables you to message friends of friends if enough shared contacts exist. It used to be that we were all just 6 degrees of separation apart, connecting anyone to anyone else via finding a friend who knew someone else, and so on. But research conducted by Facebook and the University of Milan in 2011 shows that the number of degrees is now as small as 4. 721 million active users and 69 billion friendships were analyzed for 1 month, and the results were as follows. 99.6% of all pairs of users are connected by paths within 5 degrees. 92 are connected by only 4 degrees. The average distance between all people on Facebook in 2008 was 5.28 degrees, and in 2011 it lowered to 4.74. Who knows what the number would be now? It's a small, small world.
To conclude, let's look at 4 quick pointers. First, get to know the Neet well, their context, try to immerse yourself in their condition, but be careful. Always keep the right distance. To deepen the concept of right distance, explore the metaphor, Hedgehog's Dilemma, through the video.
The Hedgehog's Dilemma is a metaphor describing the challenge of intimacy. It goes something like this. You're a hedgehog hanging out with your array. That's what a group of hedgehogs is called. It's a cold day and you're all searching for warmth. Naturally, you start grouping together. As you get closer to the other hedgehogs, you feel warmer. But something else happens. You start getting pricked. So you back away again. But of course, then you're cold. The dilemma is this. What do you do so you can stay warm and also not be pricked? This puzzle was created by Arthur Schopenhauer and later used by Freud to reflect human relationships. As they describe it, we want to be close to others but are driven away by their unpleasant qualities. The proposed solution is this. We find a middle ground. We get close enough for a little warmth, but not so close that the pricking is unbearable. It's kind of a pessimistic view, isn't it? In fact, it's almost funny to read how unbearable Schopenhauer describes proximity to another person to be. He says, their many unpleasant and repulsive qualities and insufferable drawbacks drive people apart. It sounds like a guy who really did not like people. Still, I like the Hedgehog's Dilemma for a couple of reasons. First, it articulates that being close to people isn't always easy, which is what makes the metaphor appealing. Second, it's an opportunity to engage with an idea rather than merely take it at face value. A short animated film called Henry does exactly that. It adapts the Hedgehog's Dilemma, but ends on a happier message. The main character is a hedgehog, Henry, who gives hugs to other animals, but has to stop because his quills hurt them. But the story ends when the hedgehog finds a turtle, whose shell protects him from Henry's quills. It takes the Hedgehog's Dilemma and gives it a positive twist. Maybe it's a matter of finding the right person to be close to. I like the additional bit of truth that this story adds to the metaphor, that who you are close to matters.
Second, create a cohesive group of work that stimulates social and personal autonomies. Third, creating small and simple goals to achieve to create self-esteem and motivation. Fourth, create a good network of multidisciplinary contacts to create new opportunities. Thank you for your attention. Good luck.